The String Ninjas Podcast.
Come get some. Don't have time to play with myself.
Take it easy. We're the good guys.
Hail to the king, baby.
The String Ninjas Podcast.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. One yank, and then you come.
And we're back. Welcome to the String Ninjas Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1, coming from the Sunflower Public House. They've been good enough to give us the room for the next couple of weeks while we do the filming. So we thought for the very first podcast, we'd have the general manager in, the Prince of Pints, the mother of moisturiser. There is more out there, but anyway, it's Bob McManus.
Yeah! Woo!
Welcome, Bob.
So, Prince of Pints, that would have to be your wrestling name.
Prince of Pints, yeah.
Happy to be here in the String Ninjas OnlyFans.
Yes.
It's, my safe word is beluga whale.
Caviar if you want to go fast, eh?
I prefer pineapple.
Rumpelstiltskin for me. It's
Work that into a sentence.
But yeah, we're here. We've survived season 1. We've got loads and loads of guests. Amy Montgomery, Sarah Dillon, we've got Dean Stevens, we've got all sorts of Rwanda Shaw.
Bob Hope.
There are more. Bob Hope is making a surprise appearance.
He's going to come to entertain the troops.
He will come. His come does entertain the troops, we know that much. So yeah, we thought because we're here, we've got musicians on, we've got comedians, we've got artists, we've got our fucking ugly faces. We thought, get somebody from the hospitality industry in. So
Why not?
So first week open. What's it been like?
First week open, third day open. It's been good. It's been busy. No headers in yet. Well, none that I've seen. And touch wood, it stays that way.
Oh,
but,
there we go. Speaking of which,
one out the door.
there's the header there.
No, we're okay. There you go.
There we go. That's
how real this is.
it's a fucking cameo if ever I saw one.
I made a joke before we started recording that there'd be a queue of people at the door waiting to get served because Bob's here, but legit.
There you are. You don't start work for an hour. You're off work today.
This is my day off. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so
never a day off.
You're getting badgered with all sorts of questions. You're the man about town, Prince of Pints. Prince of Pints.
What can I say?
That's what I'm gonna call it. That should be on your Twitter bio now, Prince of Pints.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
So yeah.
So it's been a good start. Everyone's been nice and kind and drinking beer and which is what you want.
Any dogs in?
No, it's been a good few dogs. It was a good Alsatian in before I left on Monday. And then but whenever I left, apparently it threw up everywhere because apparently it had separation anxiety from its owner, and the owner went to the loo and the dog just threw up everywhere.
An Alsatian of all dogs to be like that.
Yeah, that's a sick dog right there. Needs some TLC, TLD, some tender living Bob.
I hope they didn't do it in front of Boxing Hair Pizza because it would put customers right off.
No, well they were at a table a good bit away from it, but
They scooped it up and put it straight into the fryer. Fucking
Made a tara masalada.
the new pizza. What? Yeah. So, what the beer has been selling well this year? We were hearing talks of kindergarten running out and whatnot.
yeah. So we obviously Kinniger's up in Donegal, but so obviously we couldn't go up and brew a beer with them. So we just asked, would you mind brewing a beer for us reopening? Us and the American Bar, our sister pub, great pub. We just give them a flavour profile, something light, summery, you drink all day in the pub, and they went away and brewed.
Sent you back gin. Sent you a case of gin. There you go.
Sent a case of harp.
It already exists.
There's a bottle of Pints and a sprig of mint.
But yeah, they brewed it, and it's a lovely beer called Kansas, the Sunflower State in America.
There you go.
We thought that was appropriate.
I didn't even get that myself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Circle.
Yeah.
There you are.
So first day sold out 3 kegs of it. And
Just everybody had a thirst on though. Would have been fucking like old wine through a sock, and you would have fucking been selling their
well,
desk.
that's it. You could have given them anything and they would have. So,
I was only the dogs too. That's why that
Yes,
fucking.
yes,
it wasn't
that's why the dogs did
You
up.
can just imagine that per Alsatian. You know, like I'm not. You know, like when you throw up at a bar, you're like, I'm not drunk. I've just had something bad to eat. You know, like I'm not blocked. It's just separation anxiety from my
That's
own.
bad.
that's a bad pint.
What is this act that you speak of?
I've done some. Although funny, funny enough, I did actually have something really bad to eat before I went into a bar, and it sat right there in my chest. I know. So as you're pinting, you're like, you just feel really. And I destroyed the toilets and ran away. I felt so
Would you
bad.
like to name this bar?
No, because I'll probably be playing in there someday. It's not in this country. Let's put it that way. So we're not too.
I
bad.
know. I know.
It's somewhere in it. Oh, I can't even say this because if anybody they will know it's infamous. This because they never found out who it was.
The tines are still broken with the force.
The sink is still clogged.
Do you remember those things? Like when you're talking to the other bar staff, you particularly remember mad incidents.
Yes.
Especially when they involved shit in the loo.
Yeah. See, I never really got. Well, see, I think like when I worked in the Limelight, it was my first bar job. And I was doing floor cleaning and all that sort of stuff. So shit and thing, and it was just like part of the job. But one of the places I never ever thought that I would ever come across such behaviour was in retail.
Okay.
And they're worse in retail because you're not expecting it. Do you know, like when you go to war, you expect to be shot at. You know what I mean? You don't expect to be shot at while you're doing your Tesco shopping.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So like you'd be fucking in Madeline or in a couple. Donnell Mill was the most famous part for me because the one I remember the most because they do mock-ups of like, you know, here's what your house could look like with these curtains. It's like a wee mini corner of a
There's
house.
a child taking a shit.
Somebody took a shit in the mock-up living room and then wiped their hole on the curtain.
Oh, classy.
So that's the one that sticks out for me the most. And if anywhere I've ever worked, there was also when I first started working in the Limelight, fucking start of the night, the toilets were pristine and somebody shit on the floor beside the toilet.
Oh, I've had that before.
Do you like you're like
I've not done it before, but I've encountered it.
Whitney just this there we are. I'm not going. I've seen this before.
You were telling me about you worked in the Limelight. Someone told me that every Friday or Saturday night, someone used to go in and smash a glass down one of the toilets and then take a shit on it. So someone would have to go in and
That's fucked up.
And pick. Yeah, it's
I would
how
not
mad
put it
would your head have
past
to be?
anybody. Like there's some mad fucking shit in this city, but that's quite literally that's vindictive as fuck. Unless it was like Stone Cold. that was his entrance music.
I do remember one time the English are horrendous for it. No offence to you imperialist bastards. But there was a bar I was working in where somebody had spunked everywhere. Had taken, remember like Nuts magazine, and gone into a cubicle and just spaffed everywhere.
Spaffed.
And I was
just mopping
nobody,
the
like all the staff were horrified, and like I was the manager. I was like, right, you know that whole thing, don't tell someone to do something, you're not
who do
doing it
I
yourself.
delegate this to?
No, I had to do it, and then see after that there was never an ounce of cheek out of any of them because I was like, that is literally the fucking worst cleaning job I've ever had to do.
You know, I had cokeheads.
I mean, I didn't tell them how I did it. I just went in with a fucking bucket of bleach and went.
You went in with your trousers down and your tongue hanging out, man. You fucking kidding?
I know. OnlyFans wasn't even about that.
Yeah, there's some fucking disgusting
Funny,
things.
like, veterans hospitality, but Bob still survived.
But the thing is, Bob probably worked in arguably the worst of them all, Weatherspoons.
Yeah. Like Weatherspoons.
Don't defend Weatherspoons, Bob.
I'm not going to. Like it is mad, and you do have a lot of absolute crazy customers. But again, like a lot of the people that I worked with there were fantastic people, and I guess that's why I got through it because they were decent people. But again, it was like I remember going up one Sunday afternoon to our upstairs bar, and it was whenever I was shift manager there, and as I was walking up, some parent came down and was like, "Can you come up here?" They were up there having a big party with their kids and all this kind of stuff, but she pulled me aside and said, "In that cubicle over there, there's some woman giving some fella a wank under the table. So I went up and I just like, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here, blah, blah, blah. The fella was like a rabbit in the headlights, shit himself, ran out immediately. The woman was just like, nah, I'm finishing my drink. And I was like, what? So I said, I'm
Finishing my drink.
I said, I'm phoning the cops. You may get the fuck out of here right now.
I get what's funny name for us Bacardi and Coke. Yeah, fucking
It's
the
like,
word.
there's kids running about over there, and you're doing that in here on a Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. It was crazy.
That's
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I mean, how do people think that this is okay and it's sane? But
Mate, I was in Poland, in Krakow, whatever way you want to pronounce it, and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon in a park beside there's like a big like a canal, like river that runs through the city, and we went travelling with Phil. We were sitting down by it, and we were just sitting there enjoying the sun and all, and we're just, what are we going to do for the day? We're going to do this. We went to Auschwitz, by the way, that's what we did. But yeah, so Phil goes to me, he goes, am I saying this right? And I was like, what? He goes, look over at that bench, and there was a guy, like, at broad daylight, the kids running about playing all sorts. He was lying and he had, you see the belt undone and the zip down, but the girl was like sitting in between his legs and like facing away from him as if, no, like they were doing it, and she was just giving it up and down like this here, and he was just lying like that there on the bench.
For
and I'm not
audio
talking.
listeners, Gavin's just been humping the chair.
Yeah, I just backwanked myself there. But yeah, so that was broad daylight, and like Phil's looking at me going like, is this really happening? Like, it's just like a thing, like hard, and nobody's saying anything. Yeah. They all just seem to be going about their day as if like, oh well, another wanking crack off.
Yeah, that always confuses me. Like, you know, about porn sites, there's all these like videos of like they're on a bus. It's in Tokyo. It's a bus full of people. There's some girl getting bucked, and I mean,
all the commuters are just
just no. Yeah.
All the commuters are, and like, but see, like in Japan, if you know, because everything runs on time.
Yeah.
If you're late, if the train's late, it issues you with like an excuse to give to your employee or your employer. So can you imagine that one? They're like, sorry, I'm late. Somebody was getting bucked in the train.
yeah, well, there was a guy the other day, a train driver, I think it was Japan, who got off his station in the train and went to the loo, and he ended up getting a tear down from his bosses about it, like going to the toilet.
Stop having shit so company time. Oh, can you? I think probably the worst thing. There's no way everybody. You know, the old joke, you save it up so you get paid to do it. Bus driver or train driver or fucking pilot would probably be the worst one to do. Imagine you're just like, you're flying your plane, you're like, autopilot, and wait for a shift for 20 minutes, and you're just sitting there, just, fuck, why is my shit on the ceiling?
I'm still thinking about your woman in fucking Wetherspoons.
Did she leave her number on the back of the door?
Was that the Wetherspoons here, or was it?
Yeah, the one in Bedford Street. Yeah,
it's mad. Is it the Stone House or the Bridge House? Bridge House. That's what it is. Fuck. I don't know how Wetherspoons works, because no, it's like you go in and like there was people queuing up, but then there was people getting table service, and then there's like you do an app and all this here, and it's like
when I worked there, it was all just like a normal bar. You come up to the bar and order, which is fine. I still have people who work there and they tell me what the crack is. So it's you can use an app now, but like anyone can use it and order at any table. So someone in Southampton can order a drink to, I don't know, table 16 in Belfast and things like that. Yeah. So there's loads of people going on Twitter and saying I'm sitting here, but people were ordering weird and stupid things like a boat of gravy or a side of peas, just random things. Yeah. It was hilarious.
There was a guy the other day, he actually got kicked out of a Wetherspoons. He was like some TikTok guy, because 40,000 people were sending him. There was around, there was 40,000 orders going into this one bar in Wetherspoon, and they figured out who it was, and they were like, mate, you're gonna have to leave, because we can't run this bar because the fucking thing's just
you just be like, well, all those people have paid for those sides of cucumber. Lemon wedge. Funny, Darzo, you're saying about random stuff. Darzo from the Scallions is. He's a very smart individual, and he likes a good prank. He knew two of his mates down the street were hungover, so he's like, I ordered you a McDonald's. I know you can customise your order. So he basically ordered a Big Mac meal, but like took everything out of it and did extra pickles. So this is getting this pickle sandwich, and it was delivered. But I showed you the receipt, and it was like, Big Mac, no meat, no cheese, no fucking lettuce, no anything, just extra pickles. So it's just got this fucking. So you'd love to be working at McDonald's and you go like, fuck here.
I want to know who's getting that.
Who's ordering it? I want to know the story behind this, because it's either somebody that really wanted a pickle sandwich, or fucking somebody who's taking the piss out of somebody else.
Yeah, and like, in the staff, like in these big companies, they can't refuse it. They have to do it. Like I mean, if someone in the pub came up and asked for something stupid, just say, no, I'm not doing that. It's ridiculous.
It's technically already been paid for by an app.
Yeah, but like I mean, they're banned the pickles, they're banned the bap, so they have to do it.
But then you get some like later down the line, there'd be like somebody who wants just a normal burger, and there'd be no pickles left. It'd just be fucking hundreds of.
Well, yeah, I suppose there's that. You're depriving the masses of their pickles.
I
like a good pickle. Do you know one time I legitimately refused service to somebody, and it wasn't because he was drunk. He asked for a Guinness top, and I was like, I said,
"Do it look like a clothes shop? You can't fuck off."
No, but it was in an Irish bar in London, and I was like, mate,
Guinness top.
go to Wetherspoons and ask for that.
But like a lager with a Guinness.
So with a wee laminate. No,
laminate
a laminate top on his Guinness.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
No, people get like Guinness Blackbird, so Guinness and lemonade.
That's fucking strange.
I know, and I was like, no.
That's like two flavours you don't pair.
But he was like, you can't refuse me service. I was like, actually, I can, and you're a fucking idiot. Get out of my bar.
Reserves right.
I threw him out. I was like, you pervert.
What's the weirdest drink you're saying that there, but what's the weirdest drink you've ever been asked to make?
A water shandy. So half lager, half water.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were like water and lemonade there.
No.
Water.
Water and beer.
Fucking hell, gets it into the bloodstream quicker.
I don't know, just take a half pint if you don't want to.
Well, that's about right. Or fucking just have a sparkling water.
Yeah, no.
I suppose I used to get like stag dudes gives a pint of top shelf or whatever.
I know that, because that's what my one was. There was a guy came out when I worked in the parlour. And again, it was one of those bars that was just, you made no tips, you made nothing, but the staff were really good crack to work with and all, and that's why I stayed. But there was a guy, and he was like, oh, it's my mate's like 18th birthday, how much is a shot? And I was like, fucking £2 for argument's sake, or whatever. And he goes, right, well, I want 18 shots and a half pint of thing, could you pour it on into one glass? And I says, no, I can't do that. And he says, I can serve you these, but after that you do what you want with them. I'm like encouraging you to do something really stupid if I put it on the glass. And he was like, right, well, he says, give me fucking 18 shots and a half pint, but put in a pint glass. So I like fucking crammed them off and fucking all the real sickening things, and the guy fucking nacked it. You would not need another drink. No. You would not need another drink the rest of your fucking life.
I don't know why you would do it to yourself though.
It's or a friend. Hi, well done in releasing.
Let's see how much pain we can put you in.
Emotional immaturity. Here's something that's going to make you shit your bed later on.
There was a shot people used to order all the time. It was called a cement mixer. And what you do is you get the shot glass, you put a little touch of lime cordial in it, and then fill it with Baileys. Drinking it was not an issue. It's when you put the glass back down and it looked like the inside of a cement mixer.
Oh, right, okay.
I was like, why? But then there was one time.
It's a very weird, pointless.
Yeah, one time I
it's
myself.
a weird thing to be excited about when you go to a pub.
Get some ruined Baileys, please.
No, there was one time I was basically physically forced to drink a Bloody Mary through a tampon.
What?
I was like 19 and I was they got me steaming drunk, and they were like, fucking. It wasn't a used tampon. But the thing is, as bad as it was for me to have to do that, my mate who had to go and ask every woman in the bar for a fucking tampon, the amount of slaps he got in the face.
Good.
Like, yeah, I know, looking back on him, and I'm like, he's a police officer now. Like, bro, what the we were just. I think we were scum for doing that. Well, he was. I didn't know any better. I was just beginning to drink and peer pressure.
It was once he sucked the Bloody Mary through the tampon, he realised he fucked up.
I would like to point out though, I dunked it, tried to suck it, then I went fuck this and threw it away, and then just drank the Bloody Mary.
Well, at least you give it a try, and I suppose that's what I tell my son whenever it comes to eating new food. Anyway,
try it once.
If you try it, you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. But if you don't try it, then you can't bitch and moan about it. So
I feel like I've gone down the estimations of everybody who knows me now.
well, I got a similar story, but it was way more innocent. So basically, we rented a house down in Donegal for an Irish festival. There's about 10 of us, and we were there, and just there was a tampon there. No, it must have been from somebody in the packet. No, there was no. So it was sitting there. We were like, oh, weird, no, nothing of it. So then we played a prank on our friend. We were like, here, do you want a cup of tea? Because we had one of those big kettles and the big fucking things full of litres of water. Right, guy. So we made him a tea and put the tampon in the tea and left the string hanging out. No, like, and he was like, "What's up with the string?" And I was like, "Got one of them tea bags." No, the fucking you know. And he was a guy, but he left it sitting for about 5 fucking minutes. And we were like, "John, are you drinking your tea or what?" And he went. And he went to tip him, and the whole thing had like absorbed the whole cup of tea, and was like the actual circumference of the cup, and it just slid out in the face. I was like, I did not realize how absorbent those things were.
What brand was it? Give them a shout out here.
Body Form.
Girls Body Form.
Yeah, next we're going to be talking about Venus fucking razors. Yeah.
No.
So here, in terms of, because up here it's not being used. It can't be used at all.
Well, we have had people use it for filming short films and things like that.
Bollocks podcasts.
Yeah,
it's all right. We can say it.
So yeah, again, it is being used, but not in a normal capacity. Because it is our live venue where we have live music.
Would you see? It's kind of weird because there's no real. Like, see, I don't know what the crack is with the taps and stuff and all up here, because I know all down there's. That's reasonably new, isn't it? Because remember you moved everything about and you completely changed it.
Yeah. So it was maybe about 1 or 2 years that we switched everything about and renovated here and just made it a lot better and a bit more.
It does
hospitable.
Sits
to,
a bit better,
to artists. Yeah,
because people weren't walking past people.
Well, that's
playing,
it.
And then
The stage was there and it was right beside the entrance. So when people were coming in late and they were walking past the band, and it was the musicians and the people walking in were staring at each other and like, what are you doing?
like 2 dogs out in a
You're
walk.
not meant to start yet. I'm not here. You're late. What are you doing?
No, it definitely is a better feel about the room.
So and again, we've had some great nights here. I mean, you know yourself. You've played here.
Open mic night. This is the birthplace up here. So it used to be every Tuesday because it was Labaka was Tuesday. And I think Pedro wanted to keep that on.
Yeah.
And then
The Hewitt did it on a Monday.
The Hewitt shut their one down because of Tracy Hot Lips. Do you remember Tracy Hot Lips?
She is one of the stalls in St George's. Yeah.
No. Well, fuck it. Well, not that I hope not, but it'd be a crazy fucking stall. Do you remember Tracy Hot Lips?
There's someone in St George's, like Hot Lips, who does curries and stuff like that. No, it's not the same.
No, definitely not. Because I tell you what, if this person did curries, there would be a viral sensation, because Tracy Hot Lips was the 90-year-old man with Parkinson's.
Oh,
who
yes.
came in drag.
Yep.
And played guitar and all that there. And that's basically, I think it was. Oh, he was a lovely fella. He's like, because a lot of people, he would come in, and I think that's why lots of people come in, because we were always very friendly to people, because they're coming in, they're like, oh, I want to play, but I don't know. So he came down a couple of times, this guy, this old fella, and he was telling me about his life and all that there, and you getting to know him, and he's like, oh, I've got like an act, I might come down next week. I was like, oh, dead on, I come out, and he came in, and there he was in fishnet stockings and the high heels and the wig and the fucking lipstick, no, but purposely making himself really trashy looking. Yeah. But then he was like playing Jimi Hendrix and all serious stuff. But I think when because the John Hewitt's a bit more of an older gents pub, you know, like you're talking about, and it has everybody in it, but it's always struck me as like 30 and up, 40 and up type of whiskey Guinness drinkers, you know, sort of thing. So yeah, so their open mic night had been sort of dying down over a couple of years, and then I think Tracy Hot Lips went in, and I think Davey was like, right, I don't know what the fuck's going on here anymore. So they stopped doing it, and then Pedro took over the Monday for here.
Yeah.
And then we moved to downstairs, which was a good move, I think.
It was a good move.
Yeah, but yeah, but some gigs happening have happened in here over the last while. I remember playing outside on top of your fucking thing. Do you remember that?
On top of the shipping container.
The weirdest gig I've ever played in my life. I completely forgot about it until now.
I never knew that.
So Adam Turkington, who used to do Culture Night, he started that, and a few other things. If you thought, like, Adam Turkington's everywhere, like he does Hit the North, he does all that sort of stuff. Actually, it was part of Hit the North that was it Hit the North or was
it was Culture Night?
No, I near enough sure it was something to do with the painting. It was the final day of the painting. That he,
On top of the shipping container?
yeah, I'm near enough sure. But anyway, he,
because Hit the North, that was the street art
graffiti,
festival,
aye.
and Culture Night. They were both on. They used to be on at the same time.
Aye.
They've separated now, but used to be a part of Culture Night.
Aye.
So
That's right, because you always used to see them out doing the painting as you went.
you done that day, and Oren Lynch in his
Actually,
Irish
that
dancing
makes
troupe.
sense then, 'cause that was the daytime I
Culture
did
Night,
it.
and then there must have been.
But it was
other
the
people
weirdest
as well.
fucking gig I've ever played, because basically the container at the back there had like a ladder. They built the ladders on the side.
No,
of
we
it.
had it all built for people to go up and.
So basically,
do
we
stuff
went
in
up and there was like a speaker and a fucking really decent mixing desk and all up
See,
there.
I would love that because nobody. I don't like people being able to get at me.
Yeah, but the thing is, if somebody throws something at you, it's hard for you to get it down. Throw it
shit.
back.
There's too many glass bottles in this pub.
Fucking, they throw stuff and then they're on their way to the door. Or even worse, the people that were just walking down the street that weren't
Yeah.
even in the bar. By the time you got down to them, you'd be fucking knackered. But I was such a weird gig playing that there, just because I was like, it paid me well and all for it, and I was happy to do it. But like just afterwards,
I imagine you're very exposed up there.
definitely,
And-
from all. See, you usually play when you're out busking, because I think I was still busking at that stage. You're back to a wall. You can see left and right in front. Whereas there, I was like literally 360. Anybody could hit me from anything. Although the one thing that I did worry about the most was bird shit, like,
Yeah.
because it's one of those like moments where you're like, not intentionally look at me, but you're the centerpiece. Everybody's looking at you because you're on top of a fucking container playing guitar. So like, if something had a shit on me, everybody would have seen it. Like, so that was good crack. Like.
Well, that's it as well, and that old hostel that was still up, it was abandoned, like, but there was hundreds of pigeons that used to live in it, and they flew about everywhere, shitting everywhere.
They hated fucking acoustic guitar.
Hated
finger set. Fucking wankers. They were more into their Led Zeppelin and all. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
No, I don't remember that at all.
No, you weren't knocking about.
I wasn't on the scene back
You were
then.
not on the scene. I hadn't brought you into my fold.
I was still buried deep in fine dining and all that.
You were eating your steak tartare.
I wasn't eating, I was fucking serving it.
You were loving it. You were licking
Can I
the
get that
plate
cooked?
outside.
No, get out.
That's a burger you're after.
I used to love.
Have you ever had that?
What?
People asking for their steak tartare cooked?
It did happen once.
Did it?
Generally, when people order it, they know what it is. Or I get people going, "What is this steak tartare?" Because it's a starter. So they go, "That's weird to have steak as a starter." And then they explain what it is, and most of the time they go, "Oh, that's not for me." And that's fine. Don't order it. I would never encourage anyone to order a dish like that. But I used to love catching people like, you know, our customers are always right. Bullshit. Whenever you'd bring them their food, and you put the food down, and then you'd walk away to the table, and then they'd lift up the salt and pepper and go like that there, and then they'd eat it and complain. They go, "That's too salty." To which I'd always reply, "Well, I watched you open up that salt cellar on it." So it's because people don't like season when they cook at home, when they go out for dinner. Because you told me that really good analogy.
The analogy about the guy who hires people, he takes them out for lunch, and if they like salt the food or season it before they've even tasted it, he's like, "Well, you're closed-minded. You've already got preconceptions. You know, fucking. I don't know what the actual like how you would actually apply this to. You know, like, are you a tech fucking giant or something like that? There,
Apparently, Brewdog, when they're doing interviews, they will ask the interviewee, "Would you like a beer?" And if you refuse a beer, I think that's you done already. They'll do the rest of the interview, but in their heads, you're not there.
That's kind of fucking.
It is bad because like you don't want to drink in the middle of an interview.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
but-
like, because
but
they, what's the other? Like, if you want, I give us 3 beers actually. What have you got on tap? You know what I mean? We'd be like, "Wow, this is the guy who's going to lead us into the future." You know what I mean? Or this is the guy that we're going to sack for getting wanked off in the toilet by some random woman
Funny
at
you
2
bring
o'clock.
up Brewdog, because I've heard that they're planning to open in Sailortown.
I don't know. There's a few rumours going about. I think they are. I think they are settled on Belfast. They are going to open up something very soon. They were operating out of Muldoon's bar, like a takeaway service, delivery. Not takeaway, but delivery during the pandemic. So we're delivering cans and burgers
Where
and
is
stuff.
Muldoon's? I reckon
Muldoon's is
that down
it's if you're going up Corporation Street, and it's just like it's down before you get into Clarendon Dock.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh yes. I know where you're now.
So a lot of people think it is going to be in there, but I've been told that it's not in there. But again, they might be playing the double bluff.
See, it's one of those things as well for you guys. that might actually benefit you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
because
The more
it's
craft
not-
beer bars, the better.
Well, that's what I say.
Or
it's-
the
but-
more bars, the better.
But even in that area, because you guys are so alienated out there to an extent, you've got what's the other one down?
Oh, you're on about the American bar? Still, you know,
Oh, the
down there?
American bar, yeah.
You're on about
McManus,
McManus, yeah.
McKenna's, aye. So like if because obviously people are going to go to Brewdog and they'll because Brewdog is like from my experience with Brewdog, it's not a place to stay all night and
Oh,
drink.
absolutely, yeah.
So when you have a few nice, different things and then you go somewhere else, so they'll be bringing customers out to you guys. It's not like they're in direct competition with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, it's you say what you want about Brewdog, they know what they're doing, and they know beer, and people like their beer. So it's people, as you should say, people aren't going to go all night. They're going to go get food, maybe have a couple of beers, and then go elsewhere. In the Cathedral Quarter, come to us, or go to the American bar. So I'm a big advocate for the more pubs the better, and I think
It does create it creates like
well, look,
buzz
it's
in the area.
more pubs the better. Again, especially ones that do music. Again, there'll be more jobs for musicians. There'll be more jobs for staff, and it'll benefit the economy and all that jazz. So I'm a big advocate for pubs and especially good ones. I think we don't have enough of them in Belfast. I think we.
No, it's probably one of the. See, one of the things is like I wish somebody would like you guys take over the Hudson, because there's nothing. That bar is just it doesn't know what it wants to do with itself.
Well,
It's
again, it's. Hudson was one of my absolute favourite pubs in Belfast. Absolutely loved it. Great staff, great beer, great whiskies, great music. And then I think a lot of people left, and just within the space of 6 months to a year, just I've never seen something fall so flat so
quick,
quickly.
'cause we did a lot of work at the start. I did a lot of working with them at the start, doing music and stuff and all. And it was always the Hudson always did well. And then, as you say, I don't know whether it was. I don't want to correlate our music to the fall of the business, but yeah. So there was like, as you say, there was a couple of months, but we were in there like gigging, and they'd have crowds of people watching the sports over us. Do you know, like as in we'd be playing and there'd be TVs behind us showing the football.
And with
And
the
like if commentary value would
TV,
be
was
on.
it?
So you have
can't do
this.
that.
So we're ruining people's football, or they're ruining our gig. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you have those 3 floors. You could do sports bar at the top,
Yeah,
or fucking
absolutely.
you could do gigs out the side. You could, do you know what I mean? There was no like definition, I think, in that bar, because it's one of the biggest. Like in terms of the space, it had everything. Remember it had the food place at the bottom. It actually did food itself. It had a big staging area. It had like really good sound system. You know, it had all these things, all this potential, and it just all crumbled. And then it's never really been the same. It was Peaky Blinders, and then it fucking got taken. It had to get all that shit taken away.
Yeah, I think a cease and desist order that they couldn't call themselves Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. So I think that they're.
But
like,
again, it's even the idea of calling yourself the Peaky Blinders bar.
It's cheesy as fuck.
It is, and it's again it didn't need to. Hudson had a great name. It built itself up, and you don't need to go and do these things to pander to the audiences or TV shows or whatever.
It's cashing in on a gimmick, like, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But
it
there
was.
even,
It was.
I
It was
remember
very
somebody
gimmicky.
saying to me, it might have been you actually, that there's a bar in Peaky Blinders called there's like a bar that they frequent, and instead of
Yeah, I
going
can't
calling yourself
remember
Peaky Blinders, you could
Call yourself that. Yeah.
call yourself the actual name of the bar. Do you know what I mean, or like something that there, like, but to go Peaky Blinders, it's like you know. I was going to say Black Books, but Black Books would work, you know. But it's like we're calling our bar Father Ted. we're absolutely fabulous. Although that would
Biker
work
Grove.
actually. Biker Grove, right? Where you here? You go down to this new bar. It's got it's a lovely stout on. What's it called? Grange Hill. Ding, ding, ding. And it's that'd be funny if you could skit actually. We go down to Grange Hill and it'd just be like people getting tanked, you know, with the music.
Tanked by Thomas.
Thomas the Tank Engine. But yeah, fuck, it's such a weird. Our city centre as well is dilapidated as fuck. Like,
It just seems to me that again there doesn't seem to be a lot of proper planning about it. Again, the high street is down. We all know this because a lot of people are going out there and buying stuff online. Again, we still need shops in the city centre, but I think it should be a lot more catered towards hospitality and entertainment and things like that, a lot more green spaces. And again, that's sort of what we're all talking about now after that pandemic, basically.
I actually loved it because when I loved it when Primark burnt down, but I liked what happened to the city centre afterwards. It was pedestrianised.
Yeah.
I mean, you had all those wee kids play areas, and you had proper benches, and you had the stage outside Castle Court. That was way nicer than fucking. I mean, like 3 or 4 just bare benches and like shops, but they're all closed down.
There's not a lot of individuality even though there are so many bars in the town. It's like the
But
same.
they're all part of chains.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The same even though they
have an
may be a chain.
individuality, but they are part of
Aye,
chains.
they come from a company that maybe has 6 bars, but they're going to use the same fitting company. They're going to use the same. They're going to get the same credit from the same drinks company, and so then all the taps end up at the same, and all the menus end up, and there's nothing different.
I liked one of the other ones that sort of stood out for me over the years, and like it'd be funny that I'm saying this because I've had such horrendous nights there just through my own bad judgment. Is Gordon Street. I actually liked Gordon Street in terms of the way they were operating. The beers were decent, you know what I think. It's sort of both their blessing and their curse of where they are. Because the bar, I think, if it was a little bit out of the way, it would be but you know, the type of clientele that go into the Cathedral Quarter are all blazers and brown shoes. Do you know what I mean? They're the 30-year-old yuppies type of thing with a few quid on them. Do you know what I mean? And that's done the business well. Yeah. But like for me personally, do you know what I mean?
It is a really nice bar. Like they used to be good on Sunday nights.
That's
Sunday nights were very good. And then
it was 1 o'clock. They stayed open too.
Yeah.
They served to 1.
Shh, don't. You're only allowed to serve to 12. So.
Oh, you're right. I didn't know that. I thought that was a special.
Yeah, no, it's.
I thought that was
the laws on Sunday. You're only allowed to serve to 12.
Well,
so
that's going to go out the window soon
touted
anyway.
on them. Which brings me to a point. In Culture Night, I seen a band called Touts from Derry in there. Great punk band, proper old school punk. And they were fucking great in 39 Gordon Street.
Are they called Touts from Derry, or is it just Touts?
No, just Touts.
Touts,
yeah,
but they're from Derry.
Yeah.
Stouts from Derry.
No, but you see, like getting back to like the bars and stuff, and what sort of Bob's saying, more bars the better. It's like when I come to a bar like here, if I just want a bog standard beer, you can go right have a Kozel. But then if I want to talk to a barman about tasting notes or something, the staff are trained enough to be able to do that. There's too many places you go into where they don't know anything, and you feel like you're almost having to do the order for them. Because like I was in a bar last week, I'll not name it, and there was 3 of us sitting there, and the girl came over, was like, "Can I get you anything?" And I was like, "Can I get a pint of gas, please?" And she went, "Yeah, no worries," and walked away. And I was like,
"What about
you're meant to ask the other 2." I was like, "It's so basic," but the problem is that there's no talent. The talent pool in hospitality is really, 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 really bad.
That's because they're all artists, and they're all.
But no, it's
like me. Like I was an artist. I used to enjoy my work, but I always had my mind on something. I did my job and I did it well.
Yeah.
But then the minute I had the chance, I got the fuck out of
it. No, but I don't want to talk about that. Your first bar job was the limelight, and what did you have to do? Clean the fucking
clean
toilets?
shite off floors.
My first bar job, clean the ice trays, go down to the keg group. You know, you had to pay, you learn before you were allowed near a customer. You had to learn that there was a certain rite of passage almost that you had to do before you were allowed to talk to. Because in fact, it's like when you come in there, but like I know I'm sitting here like an old man, like saying that, but like I can't, like an 18-year-old who is only like that doesn't drink, doesn't know anything about any whiskies or anything like that there, and then they also don't care what I'm drinking. Right. Where when someone's selling something, they should be made to care about the product that they're like. You know, like, what's the point? Like in a chef in a restaurant serving up this immaculate dish, and then the waitress comes and just fucks it on the table.
Your fish fingers,
do you know what I mean? Like there's the care seems to have gone. Maybe it's just a generational thing.
But that's probably a thing to do with change as well.
I don't know if it's I'm always very wary of generational arguments because it's the same arguments every generation. Those youngins.
I don't agree with what you just said about generational arguments, right?
Because it's the same thing. Like it's new problems arise and new technology and all this thing sort of comes out and people adapt differently, and like the big one that people talk about, all these kids are on their phones all the time, where fucking people back in the day were in newspapers all the time.
Replace one with the other.
Yeah. So or that techno music is a bit, I don't like that, blah blah blah. But in the 1950s, that rock and roll was fucking.
It was the devil's lettuce music.
The generational argument is that look, the bar trade, it's like everything. There's going to be good people and there's going to be bad, and certain bars in the training will do very well with new staff coming in, take them under their wing. Like it helps that we all love beer here, and we're all we're all very passionate about it, and we love drinking, obviously. But I don't think we've ever. No, I know for a fact we've never put out a job vacancy advert. We always just find someone that we know or a friend of someone who's looking a job, and we just take them in, and so we will take them in, we have a chat with them, and the first question we ask them is where do you go for a drink, what's your favourite pub? And it tells you a lot about them.
The ultimate answer for you is like, oh, I don't go out, I just homebrew. You're like, get in here to fuck, can we stick it on a tap?
I brought my own hops actually.
I brought a little, was it in the Black Books where he goes, I brought a little bottle of wine for the first day. It goes, well, it's like, I brought a 6 case of home beer, making it in my bath. So I set it down.
But then there's that whole mandate that the Sunflower has, which is very inclusive.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like you also got to find the right people to be of that ilk. To be, like I love the fact that I can sit in the beer garden in a St. Pauli top and nobody says anything to me because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Do you know, like, the only thing that put me off here is that everybody was too nice to me. I got suspicious of it. Because I drank in here quite a bit over the years.
I'd start swearing at you more than that.
I just tell you fucking dick. I'd be like, oh, it reminds me of home. But I used to drink in here all the time. I think it's because it was a weird one for me because I used to, like, when I did the open mic nights in here, that was my night out, which is like the worst night out to do because it was on a Monday, so you had the whole week to have a hangover. Do you know what I mean? It's not like everybody goes out on a Friday and they're lying in bed Saturday, cup of tea and all. It was like I literally had to do the school run and all the next day. But I came out of here with no money. They made more money off me than I made off you.
That's our trick.
That's it.
That's why we got the John Hewitt gig, because Davey knew the money was going back in the till.
He was like,
charge me whatever you here, lads. Charge me what you want. And
we used to get our wages just in cash in a wee packet like every Tuesday, and we always used to call it reinvestment Tuesdays because we always used to have to come back down to the pub to get our wages, and then we'd all just sit here drinking all night long and just putting the money back into the pub.
You just talk about the intergenerational thing, but that's stuff like your dads and your grandmas would have done. No, because it was all like there was no backs then. It was all brown envelopes and all. So they'd be like, I have to go down to the yard, and then all the lads are like, we're all rich for 5 minutes. Let's go to the bar.
And that's what used to happen was like see around like any kind of towns with docks and stuff in it. The bar that was closest to the docks always would say it would cash your check for you, and that's what would happen. So like
because they got it back straight away.
All the welders would all be coming in and just giving in their checks and getting their money and then putting it back in the tills.
Because that's
kind of like the bar on a Monday just went, there you go. Because
that's kind of like it's one of those like a betting house almost. No, like you're going to lose money, but you're going to make the money off the other people that are putting it back anyway. Yeah. So, but good times indeed.
Actually, they were the worst gigs for us. Was the Kice and Ham ones. Yeah, I prefer going into the bank because when we get the Kice and Ham, we'll be like, sure, we'll go to the bar because we're going to lose.
Or we'll go get something to eat, or we'll do something and fucking just spunk straight away. I prefer it, but the thing is, it was good. I'm glad we switched over more to fucking getting paid in buybacks because then whenever everything all fell to shit and when we got our grants, our self-employment grants, they were reflective of what we think because it all went through the bank and all went through the fucking all our taxes.
Yeah. I mean, even though our tax bill, you were like, oh for fuck's sake, I have to pay this, but then it paid
off in the long run because like if we had a fucking gypped our taxes and went, oh we owe you 5p, do you know what I mean? Then we got fuck all.
Well, there's so many musicians like that.
So that's saying social safety nets. But yeah,
you can tell he's marrying an accountant.
I know. Yeah.
All the buzzwords.
She's Panamanian. She is. So I was going to say, so have you any? What have you planned for the future for the bars? Then I seen say the American God. I didn't even know it had that area.
It didn't. They just were able to come to an agreement with the guy who owned it, and they got that before the pandemic, and they were. They done it up, and in the process of getting it up, I think it was the last day of the last day before the second lockdown began. They were able to get people in and drinking in it, but they had it on the go. But between the beer garden and the American Bar building was an old sort of cafe, but it wasn't being used. So the guy who owned it actually has a cafe around the corner now, Benny's. So they came to the agreement where they could knock that through and just go straight into the beer garden now. So but there's still a wee shop area in there now. So there's a baker called his name's Justin, but the bakery's called The Grateful Bread, which is a great
Oh
name
yes,
for a
yeah.
so he's going to be baking bread in there. So there'll be lovely, sort of freshly made bread smell.
Something has happened there. Mm-hmm. To the camera, what did it say? It stopped recording as well.
Did it?
But the audio's still recording here. So.
The audio's still recording here, so I don't know what's happened there because the camera should have been full.
Aye.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking there and I'll figure away here. So
Okay. So yeah, lovely smell of fresh bread.
Card full.
Gonna
That's right. We'll keep going. We'll just say to people because it should have been emptied anyway.
I don't know the worst thing is it was like 43 minutes.
We were nearly finished. We
45.
were nearly finished anyway. So we'll just
What should we put in here then? Because you should put like a still. Whenever it
just-
stops recording, it should be like a still. Of
That's
something.
actually probably a good idea. Just put it on. Just say, listen, this is the crack. This is so.
We could actually be naked right now, and you'll never know.
I know. Here, put that away with your son. Just
You know what you should do? Actually, put it in like a zip sound effect.
just shave that first, would you, next time? Fuck's
I
sake.
don't know. It's like this wasn't meant to be, boy.
Isn't it? I know. Sabotaging it.
I convinced you sabotage yesterday.
This is mental. It's talking. The Prince of Pints, his powers strike again.
Stop looking at the camera. We're not on it.
I know. I can't help it. I can't help it. But yeah. So anyway, so what? Anything else for the sunflower in the next 3 minutes?
just a matter of getting up and running again. Or we'll probably just carry on with our t-shirt designs. I'm sorry, because we don't have double
Big lad
XL.
sizes, Bob.
That's right, yeah.
Big
Well,
lad
it's only
sizes.
two of you. If you want them, is it worth it for us?
Ah, fuck you, Jared.
just get two larges and split them. Just
Yeah,
and
just put them
then
down.
just join them together.
No.
Could do.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll support you. I'll put money in the till.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
enough.
that's what happened yesterday. Yesterday, whenever he was running out of tables, he's like, "Oh, Jerry, away from Jawbox, need someone to sit." And I went, "Do you want me to leave?" He went, "Fucking no, you stay."
So yeah, the t-shirts and I don't know, maybe more beer collabs down the line, and I don't know, just get live music up and running again. I think that's something because live music hasn't had a
hasn't
break
done
from the
anything.
lockdowns in the last year, so I think people are itching to get back and playing and just.
It's going to be one of two things. Either you're going to find it really hard to find people to play, or it's going to be the opposite. You're going to find it's going to be too hard. It's going to be hard in the opposite way, where too many people are going
Well,
to play.
we're lucky. We've been speaking to a lot of the people who've played it here in our sessions downstairs anyway, and they're all happy and willing and raring to go to come back.
Sweet.
So again, it's just a matter of what this room up here. This room up here, by the way, is free to use. We do take a £50 deposit, but you get it back when the gig takes place.
It's always about 60, isn't it?
60 capacity, but again, free to use, good for musicians starting out, or if
EP
anyone
launches.
wants, EP launches, anything. And again, we do music, but we can do anything else. We've done stage shows up there, plays. We've done Irish dancing up here. We've done absolutely anything you can think of. We don't restrict ourselves. Maybe not orgies yet.
Well, the day is young.
Yeah.
Comedy club. Don't forget the
Comedy clubs, yeah, comedy
That was
club
going
run
really
by
well.
Darren. Darren does very, very well.
He's in actually
Is
next
he?
week. He's doing a wee bit next Monday. We've got
That's good,
Darren
man.
in, so that better be funny.
I know.
Better.
Just tell a joke.
Just tell-
Go.
Let's say your man Trevor Noah, when he was fucking, no, he says he's going to a show he's come from South Africa to a thing, and he says, the customs guy pulls him in, and he's like, so what are you here for? And he's like, oh, comedian, I'm here to do a show, and then I'm going. And he's like, well, oh, you're funny, are you then? So tell us a joke. And he goes, well, I can't, they're all in my luggage. And he's like, because that's supposed to be funny. He's like yeah.
See, that is funny.
That is funny. Isn't it?
That's really funny.
But yeah, so I think we'll try and wrap that up now. It's 47 minutes, so we're not doing too bad. So
That was a good day's work.
another thing is this goes out as the first episode. It's completely fucking banjay.
All technical difficulties will be sorted out for the
Hopefully,
the
fingers
forthcoming
crossed.
people.
That's weird though that said it was full.
That's because it's had a few pints.
Arsehole.
There you are. Right, well here, thank you very much. Say welcome back to season 2. Great start. Start as you mean to go on, fuck's sake. Say thank you very much to Bob.
Thank you for having me.
And
Good to be
fuck-
here. A lot of fun.
I can't believe I have to still to look at you anyway, Mick. So, right, see you later. Bye bye.
Stop looking at the camera.
all new episodes of the String Ninjas podcast every Monday on all major streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or subscribe to us to get early access to both the audio and the video versions of the podcast at patreon.com/String Ninjas.
The String Ninjas Podcast.